Everyone. It is Wednesday, and hopefully, some people call it Hump Day. We're going to be talking of something I think is really important, especially when it comes down to how we do the pity cat. And I'll make different words for that later on in the show. I don't want to just say it right up in the beginning. But has it been hijacked by the reptilians? Do people think that they're truly, really, or really having true intimacy with their partners and everything else? Because the reptilians have figured out how to hijack this and entities and everything else. And we're going to discuss that tonight. We're going to get into number one, the trance state that mimics these altered consciousness when we're talking about sexual energy and stuff like that. Then we're going to talk about uh, how you could be having these relations with a good person, but this person could be possessed. Yes, we're going to get into that today as well. And we're going to get why they do it. Why is it? What is it they want from our energy? And why that energy is one of the most sought after of when we continue down this road. And it is these reptilians. And so we're going deep today. And then at the end, we will talk about some relationships, the conscious stuff that we've been talking about all week as we lead into our August 8th event. So hopefully you're ready. Hopefully you're here to really understand that there could be a hijack when it comes down to intimacy and who is doing it, because this is probably far beyond where a lot of people ain't is not willing to go. But if you're willing to go, I'm going to take you there. So real quickly, let's get going right after this.
Back there is not real.
There was a group of reptilians there, and they stood around me in a circle.
Tradition tells us that the army of the Messiah is not to come from heaven, but is to rise in earth.
So this is probably one of the topics that I like talking about, especially when it comes down to UFOs, aliens, entities, archons, and all these things, because somehow it doesn't get coordinated with sexual energy by most people. And I know why, because people just think it's really somewhere else. But today we're going to tie it into how could it be hijacked? How could it be hijacked? Why do you probably feel a certain way when you're doing it with this person or this thing or whatever? Because one thing people don't know, if there's an entity out there and it wants to hijack you, it knows all your weaknesses. It knows where to go. It knows your pleasures. It knows your dreams. It's in your mind, and it knows your fantasies and all these things. And why wouldn't it give different projections? Why wouldn't it take over you in some of those areas? But we will have a solution to this. We're going to talk about the sacred side of it and where you want to go with it, and even my personal thoughts about it. I'll share that with you today as well. All right, as we go deep into this, we're going to start with the conversation of how they hijack what I consider the sacred union. Now, when we say they, you already know, if you've been here watching this channel enough, you know I'm talking about reptilians. You know I'm talking about these entities and archons, because now if you are growing spiritually, you should know that some of the things that we do, and especially intimacy, is a spiritual world. But however, in a religious world, they look at it totally different. So to start with the word sex, I'll do that, or sometimes the YouTube kind of gets a little different with it. But since we're right into it, the bottom line is sex is sacred. That's the bottom line. How sacred is it to you, though? How sacred is it? Is it a recreational sport for some people? And some people it is. It's just a recreational thing, and they just enjoy it because it's pleasurable. And so is eating. That's probably why I've gained a few pounds when I used to eat food for pleasure, ice cream or different stuff. So it depends on how you see it. Also, what I think people should know, and the reptilians know, that sex is creative. It's very creative if you can be creative, and whoever is going down that pathway of creativity. But then there's people who said it just needs to be automatic. It needs to be just like this, just like that at all times, and for this amount of time, and for this particular way, at this particular spot, at this particular level, with this particular person. And it's just not creative at all. It's bland. It's just ordinary. But it's also is the sex is a source code. this is where we're going to get into deeper into the show as we are now talking about the reptilian agenda, because that's what I'm doing here. And that it's exactly why, being a source code, why they hijacked it. And so hopefully you're here for this, and we're going to get into it and understand that it has circuits, and there's a lot of circuitry when we go down this thing, and we're going to look at that. But very few circuits in the human design are as powerful. Someone was talking about it yesterday, asking me about human design and what do I know about it. I know pretty much. I've been studying this thing for quite some time and going deeper and deeper, and it does make you then change your perspective of sexual energy as you continue to go forward. But again, the circuits that a human design is powerful are as deliberate and inverted as sexuality. This is one of the main things that I say to you, and I can understand people what you're thinking right now is like, what, how is it sacred, or what is it? Is it about this? Is it about that? And it's one of those worst conversations that you can have if there's not an open mind to it. And once we go down to it, so yeah, some people are saying right now it's a portal. Well, definitely some of them are portals. I'm gonna just use that from the opposite sex, right? You can't go into a portal. But the other time is it depends on, again, your outlook and understand the purpose of it. Because like I said, we always probably in our younger age where it was recreational, just like some drugs, and now some drugs are spiritual when you talk about mushrooms or all these other different things that people take to get into that other zone or wherever they're going. But all I can say is there anything more sacred that they haven't manipulated? This is the point that I'm trying to talk about, because you should be in the mindset today that where we are with the emergence of UFOs, aliens, extraterrestrials, or entities and archons, that there is a higher force at work. You should be at the point where there's a higher force at work, and it is, and therefore undeniably there is something else working. And if you can get past the cognitive dissonances of that, then it will allow you to understand that there is some other stuff happening. And why wouldn't they want to take your sexual energy? In fact, later on in the show, we're going to talk about this succubus or incubus or whatever you want to talk about, sleep paralysis, where some of you are getting, taken advantage of at night, and you don't even know it. But I'm going to give you some signs to look for that it came last night and it got some from you. Okay, so make sure you hanging around on that. So I just want to make sure this is a rated R show tonight. So if you guys know that it's all rated R, give me the signal that I can continue with my rated R status of what we're doing. Anyway, so listen, the true answer in this question is what I'm going to ask you. Is there anything out there that these people, these elites, these occultists, these satanic people have not manipulated? And this is why this is important, because I want you to understand that what we're talking about today is not about morality. It's not about repression or anything. It's about energy control. So everything I talk about is energy control, how to protect your energy, how to make sure you got the proper energy when it comes down to this. And spiritual warfare is disguised as pleasure. It really is. It's always been trauma, shame, and then it all still comes back to what we've been talking about all this week. It's loose. And so if you notice, all of our conversations since Monday has steered back to energy harvesting by these reptilians. And I'm just really so glad that the government has come out and start talking about that they exist. And that way, I've been on this topic for quite some time, and it doesn't seem fringe anymore. Then you can kind of let's grasp it. As I take you through this journey, you should begin to get a little familiar with things and go, wait a minute, this kind of makes sense once we continue, like I said, down that particular rabbit hole. One of the things that I will talk about is what they call the reptilian sex loop. This exists. It's a design harvest system. And once again, like I said, this conversation may not go well with a lot of people today. I'll be checking the chat here in a little bit and seeing how y'all taking this in a minute. In fact, let me do a health check. I mean, are y'all okay with this conversation today? Put me a 1 in the chat. Let me know if y'all okay. I'll keep going because I do care about y'all feelings. I do care about what you may feel and what not to say, because the student is ready, the teacher will appear. But if the student's not ready, the teacher need to disappear. Okay, so that's the rhyme of the day. Now we got a one, we got one. So okay, but y'all let me know. I mean, I need a little more than that. We got some people here. We at the 5 o'clock hour, about 5:30. A lot of people start jumping in, getting off work to that, and so we just keep it going from there. But again, listen to me now. Now for to get really deep with you that you should already know. But sex is one of the most potent energy generation circuits in the human field. We have a biofield. Humans have a biofield, and it's something about the sex energy which is very high. Okay, I know some people are like, yeah, I know about that, man. I have good sex, but do you really know what is truly happening? And do you know who you may be doing it with is working for the other side and they're taking from you and you don't even know it? And you're just attracted to it and don't even know it. You've been harvested over and over. But I bet you do walk away understanding what you've done. There's no love involved. There's no heavy emotion involved. Satisfaction is cool because that's what they want you to know, that that's the bottom line, that you should be satisfied. But that's not what it's intended for. So I'm going to keep going from there. This means that they're harvesting the loosh. We're talking emotional and psychic fuel, especially when it's distorted. Okay, so we're definitely going to go down there. All right, so that's cool. We got a few ones today, and we'll just keep on. Someone said, "I think you will fall within healthy sexual education." Okay, appreciate it. I appreciate it right there. But it's all about, of course, our August 8th event when we go down the love trail, and we're going to hook some people up. And we're going to do a little more matchmaking at the end of this show today, because I think people need to look forward to who and what you're going to meet when you come to Dallas, and you're going to be doing that. Now, all right, so here's what they do. They oversaturate society with the PORN. We already know that, okay? They do that. They normalize the hookup culture and casual detachment. And let me go with that, because now, again, you got to be flexible that I'm tying this into something that you can't see, that is the driving force behind something that you might find the most pleasurable thing in the world. But there is a feature in this hookup stuff that we have done, and I have done it, I'm sure. Casual detachment, meaning, we did it. It was all about the moment. I don't have no attachment, no love, no feeling. I'll do it again because I felt good. Can you imagine that that is the operating system that a lot of us have been encountered with? And we do that. And when you do finally find the love side of it all, and the real energetic exchange, then you can have a whole total viewpoint on that, and it should do that. But once again, we're going to keep going because there's a conspiracy behind it. I'm going to get into the conspiracy of why they do it. And this is probably going to change a little people's direction. Not everybody. Somebody might just walk away here thinking like, damn, maybe I didn't see it that way. And if it's just one of you, we did a good job. But listen, they normalize the hookup, as I've already said this, and what we call casual detachment. Think about that word, casual detachment. I just wanted to hang over here for you. I got my grammar box, I got my spelling box, but today I'm going to introduce you to the whole box, okay? The whole box is where we're just going to put something for you to think about, and I'll pull it back down here later if I remember to get it in. But right now, I want the casual detachment to hang up here in the whole box, okay? You can see it. Just think about it, because we're going to double back on that. And it's important. They disconnect sex from love. Now, that should ring a bell. That should totally ring a bell, because they do it because love is the most powerful thing that these entities, the extraterrestrials, remember, they don't have this. They don't have apathy, and they have apathy. They don't have empathy, right? They don't have these things, and they wasn't made. We were the final creation of perfection as humans, and we possess love and emotion and feelings. And remember, if you go research all your gray aliens, you research all of your different, especially reptilians, they do not have the wherewithal to go down the path of emotional love, but they know that power. So think about true love. True love will make you jump in front of a train for somebody. Maybe, it'll make you rob a bank for somebody if they just need the money. We've seen the movies. True love has made men go run in there and rob a bank. We've seen true love, people die over it and all of this kind of stuff. But if they can disconnect it and create the trauma side of it, then we get to operate on the program in that. So once again, they weaponize trauma to distort desire. That there is probably a conversation that once again we could be having it, and we can do that. Someone said, "Is this an appropriate topic?" You're talking about this topic?
No, they asked the one for.
Oh, the one for. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I'm reading. You know, and so somebody said the subject today. Yes, great topic. Cool. Yeah. So we're going to continue to go down there. Sacred Energy Exchange IMAX. Yeah. So where I'm going with this is, all right. So here's the key that should be recognizable to a lot of people. When they weaponize the trauma to distort desire, then they replace sacred union with dopamine abandonment, okay, or addiction, I should say, not abandonment. I'll get to that later on down. It's just in my outline of thought. But we're talking about dopamine addiction. They end up replacing a sacred union with dopamine addiction. Now, what am I talking about? I'm saying in some cases, and like I said, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to other people who are listening, not you, whoever you know, some people take it personal. When they replace the sacred union with dopamine addiction, what happens is you begin the process of being sexually active, all right? And you got to remember, all of this is energy loose harvesting because they cannot harvest love energy. You hear what I'm saying? The reptilians, the entities, the archons, they cannot harvest love energy. The vibration of love, sexual energy cannot be harvested by them. Y'all with me? But they can harvest the sacred union with dopamine addiction. So what I mean is you can have sex with someone or this relationship, this whatever, bang, bang, thank you, whatever, it's good, it's great. And it is that dopamine addiction is just feeling great, but that's not the same energy as love. That feeling great energy is not that. And they're harvesting it constantly. And you're just like, oh man, it's just great. And you wonder why it's empty. You wonder why the relationship world of it is empty. The feelings of it is empty. The person who they could be using, and like I said, I'm gonna get to that in a minute. Let me just stop that right now. But what that does is it's gonna create a loop. And let me tie this into our conversation so you'll get what I'm talking about. And for those of you just jumping in, this is not a education class today. We're talking about reptilians and how they have hijacked intimacy, okay? And it's hard for people to understand that they pesky little ways are indoctrinated into a lot of parts of our life. We'll get into media, we'll get into food, we get into celebrities yesterday, you get into the mind control, you get into because we are energetic beings, and in any way they can get that energy, they go for it full throttle. The loop that it creates is something like trauma, addiction, isolation, depression, and then they extract the loosh. This should sound really familiar with a lot of you. It all's going to start with the trauma, then the addiction. Now, the trauma could be in any category that any of us have, whether it's trauma with past family issues, childhood issues, then the addiction to whatever is the coping mechanism of that trauma becomes heightened. Okay, when you start thinking about that, then the isolation starts because usually your mind is going to wake up to a point that this something is not right here. It's not fulfilling me. It's not. Am I not doing this right? Am I not finding the love that I'm used to? Am I not finding the fulfillment of relationships? Is this not my true mate, my boo, my whatever it is? You will begin. It has to. Your mind will begin to isolate this because it has to deal with it. And if it deals with it negatively, depression hits. Now, depression comes in a whole lot of forms. I'm not a therapist here, but I'm just giving you some information. You go research it yourself. But depression comes in a whole lot of different ways. It looks a whole lot of different. But when it hits, and then they swoop in at your lowest times, your lowest thoughts, and they hijack the loosh. All right, and they extract the loosh. And so then it gets deeper. The more fractured you are, the more obsessed you are, the more disconnected we become. And this loop just keep going. And it's easier for them to process. It's easier when we're divided from someone. It's easier when they can feed on these things and pretty much. But like I said, we're going to talk more deeper into it. It does have depression, though. Okay, so you guys are with me on that. All right. So are y'all following along? Am I making any sense today, or am I out of my wheelhouse? Because we're talking about alien stuff, right? Let me know. I'll stop. If I'm in my wheelhouse for you, that's how I feel about it. Because I work for you all. You know what I'm saying? I work not just for clicks, but I do work for likes. You know what I'm saying? I do work for it. I do work for comments. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just here and I'm visualizing hundreds of people over time that I'm talking to. Your face, your whoever you are looking. It's a circle. But you got to get gifted enough to talk to the circle, right? You have to do that. So, all right, I got a thumbs up. I'm good. Keep it coming, because hey, I like my ego stroke too. You know what I'm saying? Stroke my ego. You know what I'm saying? And we'll get into that. We'll get into that in a little bit. All right, making sense. Cool. All right, let's keep it coming. All right. So we can get into the things that the archonic entities and all this stuff use. We already know about media. We already talk about that other stuff, P-Hub, if you want to think about that. But what about psychic vulnerability? I don't think we pay a close attention to that's part of their control systems. And we already know the porn stuff, addict people and deplete energy. We know that. It's an addiction, and people should know that at this point. But what about when we talk about hypersexualized media to lower the vibration? Now, those are things they do, and we'll get into that because they do this with frequency. You already should know 440 gigahertz or megahertz or whatever music, and then you got 5G, you got the lunar signals, you got all this stuff is designed to, and it's not 432, it's 440. 440 is designed to inflate the impulses. We're talking about trance states during what's another word for when a man do it to himself? I just don't want to say it if we got kids watching. Another word we want to use? Choking chickens. Okay, so if you want to choke your chicken, you know what I'm saying? I was raised on that. Choking your chicken or all of that stuff bypass the psychic shields. I want you to know that. It's something about that. Somebody's talking about Master B. Okay. All right. I'm just saying. All right. Choking the chicken. Yeah, we ain't going to talk about Bob. We're not going to talk about you ladies' boyfriend, Bob, which is battery operated boyfriend. And I, I've seen commercials, but I saw him in real time, in my life, my most recent moments of life. And, you get a chance to see these things. But let's continue to go down the rabbit hole here. So when you start thinking about choking the chickens and and you bypass that psychic shield, when the chicken rooster roars, whatever. Sometimes I can't say about me, but some people, when it happens, it's a shame, it's a little guilt or loneliness because they're by themselves at this point, compulsion, and you actually emit some type of denser energy when you're doing this. And that happens on both sides of the fence, by the way. Although some people might say it doesn't, but it does. I'm just letting you know. And this is a dinner bell to them. Ding, ding, ding. This is a dinner bell. This is probably why I start reading stuff about S retention. Right? You want to retain it, right? You want to hold on to it. And that doesn't mean you just make it go into a cup and you go put it up in the freezer. That's not retention. I'm not saying that. Okay. I know some people like, hey, I just put it in a cup. It go whatever. So I'm just saying that I know. I should be saying this stuff, but I can't help it. I mean, I'm just gonna keep talking. I can do this. So, but the whole point is, I was going to read this, my notes, and I'm going to skip this part, but I will say this. It's a dinner bell to them. They feed on it, especially, listen to me now, I'll get a little serious face here, when it's paired with psychic openness and fragmented identity. Sometimes we don't know who we are, and we don't know why we do certain things. And sometimes we're confused on who we are. And when we do these things, it just elevate their part of saying this is what this is. Now, I'm not here condoning any or condemning anybody, because I was a little rabbit when I was young, and fast rabbit too. Not fast that way, but I caught a lot of things. I was a good old fox, But either way, I'm just saying that I'm gonna move out of there. Let me just keep going. All right. So the other part is what we call tech assistant possessions, the invisible, and I'm gonna get into your possessed partner in a moment, okay? Because that is important. I think a lot of people cannot find out, or it doesn't sense, even though you're being told. You should know when your partner is being controlled by an entity. It's very subtle. It's in a lot of ways. And once again, it is going to be confusion on your end of the end when it's done every single time, whether it's now, in the moments, days, or whatever. But we don't act on those things. We do not act on those things. And so we will go with that. Somebody says having a great day. Cool. All right. I'll get into the chats in a minute. Definitely, if you got anything good you want to say, you go ahead. If you just join us, we're talking about the how they hijack intimacy. We're talking, and that's a bland word. I kind of use that for rated PG word and stuff, but you should be knowing what I'm talking about. And if we want to really talk about how the whole overrules the pole, or whatever you want, anywhere you want to go with this, whatever conversation, whether you like it this way, that way, with this person, that person, you want it that big, this wide open, whatever. It's your preference, but at some point, some of it's a trap. It's a real trap. It's a trap, okay? And so it's been hijacked. But when you do find that point, that area, and everything else, and I'm not, I do have a note that they have found out when they talk about tech assisted possessions. We're saying that, and some people may click off in just a few seconds, and it could be that, hey, you're an energized bunny. I've met some people that some friend girls of mine that talk about men that I know that's friends of theirs, and they want to just tell me how this guy is, and this was a few years ago, and they was like, nah, he's just, man, he's a whatever. He's all day. I'm like, all day, like all day, like all day. And I'm like, baby, go check the cabinets. You know what I'm saying? What? You know what I'm saying? They were like, are you kidding me? And you think you found a lightning bulb or something? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. Give that some time and see over time. But anyway, I'm going to get out of that part because I'm talking to someone out there, and maybe. But what about sleep paralysis? Do you know that you could possibly be getting hit at night? Okay. And some people ain't going to admit it, but there's people out there who knows for a fact when it happens to you, you're on your stomach or something, or especially for the men, I'm sure, but women, I'm sure you felt the thing, and we're going to get into that. If no, you know what? That's going to be a vote. If y'all want me to talk about that part, how do we want to vote about that? Because I can skip that, but I can skip the part about the sex may be good, but the partner could be possessed. Maybe they don't want to hear that, because some people may just be already strung out. What do you think, Devin? They may be already strung out, and so they may not want to hear that. I'm going to pause there for a minute for station identification. UFOs are here in town. Okay, we just want you to know. In fact, our show is brought to you by Make It Zone. Let's talk about that real quick. My shea butter, and we want to make sure that I use this all the time, and is whatever, right? So this is some good shea butter. It's once again, this is Manifest. This I've been using this all week. Whew, smells really good. And you can go into our partnership of just they support our show. We're going to support this and it's make its own designs. Holly is the person who does this. You can go and check out all the unisex scents crafted with intentions, reverence, and capture the essence of each moon phase drawing from the rich tapestry of ancestral wisdom. And so all these are designed with the journey of the heart of the divine. So make sure you go and check her out. I'll put the website on the screen right now and go and support. Definitely, whoever buys and get your stuff, I would love to get your testimonial so we can send it to her and pretty much. But if you do go to the website and do something over this week, let me know. I would like to post your comments and everything else because this is some good stuff. I use it daily and not just because she supports us, but I really do. It is something that I like, and we will go to that. We'll talk about the crystals. I got another one today, my jade, which is Judith is our crystal custodian. I got one of the most lethal weapons sitting on the front of this is a Vajra, and we'll talk about that later, and so that you can reach out to her and get your custom crystal maze and everything else. Somebody said talk about aliens. We're already talking about aliens. That's why I know some people missing it. We're talking about reptilians that uses everything to draw your energy and harvest and everything else. And since they are letting you know that they exist, they're going to be drawing your energy a whole lot more than what you think. And so I don't want you to be confused that we're not talking about aliens. We are talking about what these aliens are doing, who they're doing it. Pretty soon I'll get to tell you why and what they're doing to you and to where it makes sense. And so since only a couple of you said, somebody said, show me how they did it, where in my physical mind, where they activated on my physical body. Okay, now, you know what? That's really setting out there. Something up with the nervous system. So I'm seeing you all there, but we got enough people in here that I should have had 10 of y'all, 20 of y'all saying go forward or not go forward. I'm really surprised. Maybe I'm not being interactive enough. Maybe I haven't came to your chair enough. Maybe I hadn't said something enough to you to know that you could be getting messed with aliens and entities at night while you sleep. Maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe you thought you just having a bad dream over and over and over, and then you just come to find out. Maybe you thought, how are they not taking babies from me, in which they could be, and all these things. There's a lot of stuff that is happening, but maybe it doesn't interest you to even know all of that, and maybe I should just not be saying it, and maybe I should talk about it anyway. So either which way, someone says talk about it, keep it, God. We love it. All right, cool. Needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. That's for sure. I'm gonna come back to the sex may be good, but the person is not possessed. I think I'll do that toward the end a little bit. I just got to remember on my notes. So I'm going to double back for this, even though it's right here, perfect timing. But let's talk about the rituals and the hybridization in ancient agendas. This will take us into the alien world that some of you want. And so we will do it. Someone says go for it. Someone says, I'm pretty sure. I just don't know what to do about it. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to get to it. I'm going to make it last for you because it's important. I really think it's important. In ancient times, the reptilian genetically altered early humans. They altered our DNA by inserting their DNA. This is why we do a lot of conversations about the reptilian brain, about what the reptilians are doing, all of these things, okay? And sexual encounters were used. Think about this now. Now I'm going to tie this into you now. Sexual encounters were used to create hybrid lineages. So why wouldn't we be having how they hijack intimacy? If they want a certain type of breed of alien to come through you, then and to perpetuate that hybridization program, they're going to hijack sexually intimacy. They're going to do it. Now that shit's starting to make sense to you, right? Why I'm saying this is a conversation to be had. If you know hybrids exist, then hybrids have to come through that particular interaction that you're having with these humans yourself. And if they can hijack that to make sure certain things are passed through, then it comes with a program. It comes with a program, plain and simple. It comes with a program. This is why we talk about these different bloods. This is why we talk about all of those things when it comes down to it. So we're talking about Babylonian Brotherhood. We're talking about these elite bloodlines, the 13 Illuminati elite bloodlines that we be talking about, and which has extended out even more than that. So this thing gets expanded once you start talking about. And when they have these offsprings, they put these offsprings in power places, period. And then they already are loyal to the hidden control grid. So now we're getting, I'm coming at you right there now in your chair that it starts this way, but in order to get you to enjoy reproducing what they need to hijack you. And when they want to intervene, they can come in the fourth dimension or whatever they're doing and come in and hijack the possession of whoever it is, whatever they person that you with, whatever, to reproduce the goals that they want. Y'all get what I'm saying, right? And so these are things that you want to begin to understand what I'm talking about when we go down this. And like I said, we'll do a little matchmaking at the end of the show too, because I know yesterday y'all kind of like that. We're going to keep that going a little bit because we're going to work this all the way till August. Okay. So we're going to head that down. All right. So here's the other part. Even today, they have ritual abuse. They have elite blackmail rings out there, symbolic sexual acts that are used to bind individuals to their system. All right. There's a lot of things that you could get binded, whether it's through blood, whether it's through all these sexual rituals and things. And so those are things that you want to pay attention to that they can do and that they are doing when it comes down to that. The other part is sex isn't just about pleasure to them. It's how they mark and claim their control. Let me repeat that. It's about pleasure to you, but to them, they know they can mark, they can claim their position, and they can control you out of this. Some people are being controlled through that process, plain and simple, because they know how powerful it is. And then also, if love was involved, watch out, man. That is just a wonderful thing if it can happen the right way, so to speak. And so we're talking from sacred union to loose form. This is the gap between what they're doing and how they're doing it and everything else. So let me just poll y'all for a minute. And I need a spirit of honesty. See, we're using the word spirit of honesty. All right. How many of you have finished doing something with whoever you did it with or doing it with, and you do it's not fulfilling a day or so later or hours later, and maybe you don't even love the person, but you did it and you're doing it. How many of you want to admit that, right? Who wants to put in a chat that this is happening? Okay. This is happening, that you've done it, doing it, and y'all, there's no true love there. Okay, so all right, we got some yeses there. Boy, y'all good. Somebody said you're talking about my girlfriend, right? Oh, he said you're talking about my girlfriend. Hey, that's what we're talking about. Spirit of honesty, right? Let it out, let it out. Somebody said been there. Come on, keep it coming. Because if you can admit this ain't Dr. Phil. You know what I'm saying? When I talk about that sugar honey iced tea. Somebody said I did and never will settle ever again. Yeah, okay. So now we're getting somewhere for some of you, because if you can get to that part in your life, and you can't claim that you're spiritual if you are not exercising that side of the fence. There's a lot of conscious people walking around. We're going to be talking about that in August. How people are consciousness and they're spiritually awoke and awake, but that energy in that particular area is all over the place. Is wherever they want it to be, where they want it to be. But come on, somebody said neither, shade, never again. We all been there once or twice. Okay. Someone said it's happened, but I don't know if it's real. They're real. They're good making you think they do. Oh, you mean which part? About loving you afterwards or whatever? So, I mean, keep going. I know I don't ran two people off because I can see the count. They jump off and come back, you know. And when you speak truth like that, they can't handle that, right? It's something.
Truth hurts.
The truth hurts, man. It really does. Some people are going to give it up in the next few days to someone who don't give a shit about you, and they're drawing your energy. They come and collect your energy. They come and collect your stuff. Succubus stories have been there since 14th century. Yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that, Jaquette. Yeah. So where I'm going with this is there's going to be somebody coming to take your energy, your sexual energy, and then they're going to use it for power. And you're going to be like, think about it, Devin. You know, how many people when they finish, they're like, oh man, I'm just tired. They're drained. They're not warm and warmth inside, feeling the you know what I'm saying? They're like, oh boy, we just did like rabbits. Uh-huh.
They use it for power control to make sure you come back.
Make sure you come back the next time, and it just keeps coming, keep coming. And those are the things what I'm talking about. So someone said all too often trying to find love. Yeah, okay. So um now I will go back into the sex may be good, but the person could be possessed. Is not. Okay. This is probably uh a hard conversation for a lot of people, but I do have it with my friends or different people, and I try to point out these things. Like, wait a minute, you didn't get what this person said or doing or how they're coming at you, right? And if they can find those triggers and those trauma circles, and not everything comes the way you think, but usually the way that they present themselves and the way that they chat and talk and communicate with you is two different spectrums. You know, they may say they this way and then they talk this way or they do things this way, and it's not bringing in to alignment of what's going on. And if demons are going to stop you from your mission, because a lot of people, a lot of you are on mission. Some of you are here for a purpose, and maybe you're here to do something and you know it, but you get sidetracked. You know, I don't think most us beings who are not looking or wanting to encounter true love is not on that path without knowing that that's something that they want and want to come here to experience. Now you can, I'm sure, get true love being by your dang on self. You know, I'm sure love yourself and all those things. But I think at the other side of that coin to experience it. I'm gonna look here in here. Someone says looking for love in all the wrong places. I think is it, and we can use that looking for it in all the wrong places. I'm gonna go beyond that statement. It is allowing it from all the wrong places. You get what I'm saying? Because you're not really looking for it. It's just misguided, you know, at some point because it doesn't come in the package that you dreamed of as a little girl, a little boy, right? As you grow up, I want this. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't. There's not too many brothers I knew that didn't want a Beyonce look. You know what I'm saying? Who didn't? You know what I'm saying? You know, I know people that got pillows and pillowcases with pillows with that look. You know what I'm saying? And here they is talking about, oh, I want this Beyonce, and then they're watching TV and Beyonce's on the screen. Their wives over here is not a Beyonce, by the way, and they're like, oh, Beyonce. And then they look over there, oh, Beyonce, and they look over there, and it's very difficult because she got an ultimate spell. Her walk got a spell. You know what I'm saying? It's like the whole 9 yards got a spell. But if you begin to love from the inside, you could love your partner, and hopefully, you know, Dreamwise and his wife. And let me segue into that. Dreamwise and Desiree, when we talk about this August the 8th, and they're going to be coming there married, and they have a lot of sexual energy. So that should be a good one. Brother Joseph and myself will be there as well. I'll be kind of emceeing. There is a link in the description so you can get your ticket. I'll put it on the screen here. What's going to be happening? Yeah. It's Lionsgate. It's going to be 8/8 in August here in our home field in Dallas. So I'll be there. Brother Yosef will be here. Dre and Dreamwise will be here. And Lionsgate is 8/8. It's done on purpose. We're talking about new life love, and you're going to have courage, clarity, expansion, and then also divine timing when things come in. So that gate is going to be open, and this time is now that your love awaits you. So if you are interested in meeting some like-minded person that probably feels the same way that you feel, then you might want to be here that day, And like I said, there's a link in the description. I think we still have some early bird tickets going on. I'm not really sure. I need to talk with Brother Joseph and them and see if that still happened. If not, you still need to get your tickets. We have limited space, and but it's going to be really good and divine for you to come into Dallas and see that. We should have some live stream packages too. But you're not going to feel the energy of that person if you watching live stream, but you should learn from live stream. So let me look here. Someone has my partner's last name should have been first clue. Faust, aka deal with the devil. Okay. There you go. Word spells and all of that stuff, then you can kind of go with that from there. But usually when we're talking about the partner being possessed in these entities, they have a real good way of making sure that they are able to control you because they have a front row seat to your desires. They have a front row seat to all the things that you have. And so those are things that is pretty good once you start thinking how they roll to do that. I have had a relationship with a person some years and years ago, and boy, it was just a crazy thing. It was you're just like, okay, whatever, and sometimes you run across some stuff that is designed to distract you completely. And you're not in love with it. You desire it. You want it. You like, man, I got to get some more of that. You know what I'm saying? And it'll make you do some things. And I've been able to, do things that I think, again, I'm gonna scratch that part out. But the other part that I'm about to say is that when you do decide that you're going to truly make love to your partner, then it's exploration time. You want to go explore. You want to, because you got someone's going to tell you, I like it like this, and that's it. And this is how Rick did it, Mike did it, Skippy, Jane, and then Skippy again. You know what I'm saying? Jane got in there, taught a little lesson in between, squeezed in there. But they want it like this and this, that. That is just how it's going to go. You're just going to do it this way, for this many seconds and this many moments. When they may got other parts of their body that can trigger other things, maybe it's another love button over here or somewhere else if they allow you to explore. And I know a lot of people don't do that anymore. They just don't. I will be tickled to death when David, when my time comes, she just exploring all over the place. You'd be like, yeah, that's the spot. Oh, I didn't know I had that spot. Shit, you know what I'm saying? It's like, shit, it's my body. I didn't know that was there. You get what I'm saying? So exploration is a wonderful thing if you can get the patience for that, right? At the point. And so we will continue down that path as we continue, but just don't let it hijack you. Don't let the archons take it and all those things. And I think it is worth noting that they will do such a thing. Someone talking about, nah, you got to coordinate. I'm not telling you just let them run rapid. Now, I didn't say that. You don't let nobody just go buck wild. You do have speed zones. You know what I'm saying? You do have like, nah, I don't like that. Slow down over there. Very slow right there. No, put the blades up. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? You do coordinate the effort. Y'all are going to work in tandem with exploration. Okay. So let me make sure I put that out there right. Somebody say, flip the script then. I'm with you. All right. So somebody said that's the whole example that shows the importance of Roderick's topics today. Yeah. Which part? I missed that. So put that back in, Shay John. What do you mean by whatever I'm saying? And so I would like to know if I'm on the right track and I can continue down that. But poor relationship are with someone who just takes and seldom never gives. Yeah. And it could be. There's a lot of ways that you will know that. So we're going to talk a little more, and then we'll get into in just a second when you were visited by this entity, some of the things that it left on your body, how you know that it came and got your, hooked up last night. A lot of stuff that you're going to understand the violations that have been happening. So in about the next 5 or 6 minutes, we'll get into that. So in the meantime, real quickly, one of my malas today is this is jade. Jade's one of my favorites. Uh, I remember when I ever picked my first mala at a mala store or the stone, I was drawn to the healing power of jade. And I still have one that I have over here that I keep. But I do invoke this thing right here, which is called the Vajra. And if you want to know anything about any spiritual tools, you can look that up and use it. And entities, a lot of things know when you're wearing this, when it's in your pocket. There's a lot of things that happens out here, and if you know that goes on, you want to protect yourself. But in the meantime, go visit Judith, my friend, my dear friend, and people are already reaching out to her. She can do plenty, some, because she does these things personally. She will talk to you over the phone. She will get your intentions. She is our crystal custodian. That is the person that is bestowed over our group, the trusted person that you don't want everybody making your stuff. Your spiritual tools. You definitely do not want that. And so I have some of the most beautiful malas that I can wear on any occasion for whatever feeling, for whatever situation that I'm trying to make sure is invoked at that time. So go to Charming Malas. The email is right there. Telephone number is right there. Let her know Roderick sent you, and she should know that. But if not, just tell her you watched the show, and that she's going to give you a special insight on what you're doing. As Charming Malas, I'll leave that up there for a moment so that you can get to that. Someone is saying, I think it's about being honest with ourselves, our desires, and putting that out front. No changing what's on the menu after you've done sat down in a restaurant and you're hungry and comfortable. You know what? Damon is funny. I used to have Damon come on our show. He's really funny, but that is a true statement there. Once you have decided on the menu, you go with that. And that's where the exploration will come, because at this point, you should then be able, because I say that about relationships now, Damon. Actually, I was talking to a friend of mine, and me and her were just having a conversation, and I was like, hey, wouldn't it be easy? Because most women, I'm use that for example, because I'm coming from my male perspective, think that we should already know how things should be done all the way. Now, of course, you're gonna come in with some talent, you're gonna come in with some hard evidence, but you want it like a restaurant. See, when you go to a restaurant, the waiter comes out, even though it's steak on the menu, you do sit there and tell them exactly how you want your steak done. I want it like this, medium, still like this, a little bloody, whatever. And then he is able to come back out. But in our intimate world, we want somebody to just come and tell you what you like. And then frustration hits on both sides of the fence. And so he's right. You want to be honest with your desires and what you don't and don't want or do want and how you want it. And then if it can be fulfilled that way, you then do it. And it ain't a one shot thing. Everybody's going to learn. But eventually, once you know this step, bada bing, bada bang, then it gets pretty good. So we'll go for that. Somebody says, I don't know about abduction part, but they were virgin birth. Okay, so Jesus and Mary. Oh, well, so they say. But that's where we talk about the Asmodeus and all these serpent spirit energies and all this stuff. So we're going to go into real quickly from sacred union to loose form in source aligned traditions. You're talking about Tantra, Taoism, the law of one. And when they talk about that, sex is a heart opening union. Now, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. I don't know much about Tantra, and hopefully my partner in the future, she says, okay, let's go down that road. You know anything about that? Tantra? I've heard it's supposed to be. Anybody know anything about Tantra? Put it in the chat. Let's see what y'all know. I don't know anything about it. It's supposed to be intense. I'm hoping to go down the rabbit hole with that one. So let me see what y'all know about that. We're talking about Tantra, Taoism. Of course, we know the law of one. And of course, we know sex supposed to activate that Kundalini activator, co-creation with source, all of this stuff. But boy, they're quiet on Tantra right now. Nobody don't know shit about that. Gee. I'm gonna text some of my friends to see what they know. You know what I'm saying? What do they know about tantras? And maybe they can tell me. And maybe they don't know. Let's see. I'm just texting. I'm texting a friend. And just see if they answer and say what's going on. Yeah. So someone said Tantra is the bomb. Really? Okay. All right. My dog passed away today, but I'm here. Oh, sorry about that, man. You know, we know dogs are man's best friend. So somebody said Tantra is the bomb. That's all y'all got? I heard about it, but never tried it. Okay. All right. So this is what I'm saying. These are things that in this conscious community, we're supposed to probably explore. I think that'll be something to explore if it had some merit. I don't know. Someone says I'm needing some clarity too. Okay, good. I guess I had a great question there. All right. Maybe we'll get an answer. We need to find our sex goddesses out there. So if you consider yourself as one of our sex goddesses out there, please tell us. You have an open interest right now. Some people are saying they don't know, but anyway, yeah. Sorry about your dog, brother. Somebody say yes, the best. All right, that's it. Okay, so Alexander says, which he's going to meet somebody when he gets up here, and he says, Tantra's when two energies come together, you both feel the same feeling and truly become one. Okay, cool. That'll be good. Someone says Tantra is letting yourself go, like touching, caring. I heard about the eye contact and get in touch with your partner's senses. Okay. Someone says it's synchronizing breathing with your partner while you're engaging with each other. Oh, y'all going in it today. Cool. Someone said, I want to say it's different sexual positions like yoga. Yoga? I have a friend that does yoga daily with a D. Does that mean anything? I don't know. I need to ask them why they do yoga. Maybe it's exercise. Is yoga just like exercise or something? Maybe. I don't know. But sex combo. Someone says, oh, bro, I'm sorry for your they're talking about the dog. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Bruce, we're talking about his dog. And sorry about your dog, brother. And we are family, and we are talking about your dog. So I'm going to move on from that question because obviously maybe I'll get Brother Dreamwise and his girl. Could they study a lot of this stuff? I'm going to ask them about that. I'm going to ask them about Tantra. You know what? I'm going to text them right now.
They say at the point of orgasm,
Yeah.
that's the closest you can get from this dimension to the next. At the point of
What? For real?
At the point of orgasm.
Y'all need to hear it. He says that at the point of orgasm, that it's the closest you can get to another dimension. From this dimension to the next dimension. It opens a portal. Now, I have Alice Crawley's Sexual Magic book, right? And I was reading one page at the end. He was talking about how she needs to be moving like this. And I'm like, what the fuck, right? So, yeah, maybe it's some good stuff. And once you start thinking about all that stuff. So I'm going to, let me see if I text Dream and him and see if he, maybe they can answer that question and we will, I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to text my group, and then since we are going to have a seminar, and then we might as well get the answer. I am on the live now. So we're going to,
Few people agree.
Somebody agree with
A
you?
lot of people agree.
Oh, she has to rotate them hips. Oh, shut. All right, y'all stop that. Hang on. I'm on the live now. Talking about Tantra. I'm just going to write that to them right now. Y'all give me a moment. We're going to get an answer. And can you explain what it is and how? Audrey. So, all right, let's go. The text just went out. So we're gonna get the answer to that. It just went out. Someone says she has to rotate them hips Tantra is results or resorts in cabins in the woods, whole group. I don't want to be down with a fucking group though. Do you want to be doing all that? I get what you're saying. Someone else said yes. It's what I said at the beginning. It's a portal. Yeah, you did. You said it at the beginning, but you didn't put Tantra connected to it. But yeah, well, no, I did. I made an answer about it earlier, so I'll take that and pretty much. I know some of y'all. It's almost 100 people in here. I know I ain't the only one sitting here asking that question, and some of y'all are just pretty much. That's why you got to be careful who you do this with because you will open the literal portal. Okay, so I do know that part. I do know, and that is where the journey is in my life today. I do know if I'm going to go that route, you better be careful who it's with. That I definitely understand that. So I am being very selective on that particular moment. I just want you to know I agree totally. I have learned that. I have read the statistics on that. Okay, that not just statistics, but the cautionary tale of opening those things with the wrong person. So you definitely want, and some people don't care. They go for the feeling and not the love of the situation. Okay. And I have not got a response yet. They should be like responding right now. Ain't nobody there. Okay. Well, maybe. I know somebody getting my text here. Yo, I'm selling the event. Come on with it. Help me out. I'm gonna tell them help me out. You know. So same stop because I was shown by the ETs. All right. Well, all right. Someone says to open and activate. Let's go there. Why am I not? Oh, let me hide this here. Yes, is about got a whole lot of tantra parties out there. Okay, so yeah, so yeah, maybe that is it. Once you start thinking about all that, I don't know, but once we, so I text them. I haven't got the answer back, and I'll find it. Some said moving. Oh, okay. Somebody said okay, so they did answer. Tantra is moving your most powerful energy to become more consciousness. Okay. All right. So what do y'all think about that? So anyway, yeah. So the answer that I got was moving your most powerful energy to become more consciousness. So we'll be talking about that August the 8th. Like I say, the link is in the description. So y'all want to make sure if you're going to be coming, we're going to be going through all of that as well. Yo, get Tantra on y'all and all that love, peace, and everyone. Yeah. So yeah, that's part of it. But again, they can hijack that. The reptilians hijack your intimacy and turn that into negative energy if it's not done properly. So that is something that, again, that you want to be concerned of. And most likely you want to check, when it comes down that pipeline to do that. And pretty much. All right. So I'm going to read a little more. Let's get into real quickly how you're probably being seduced at night by an entity. Okay. And if you think that's going to be a little too terrorizing for you, I'll stop the conversation and do that because you might have a dream tonight and then you're going to find out that you have been going. But before we get to that, if you are aligned with Tantra, Taoism, the law of one, sex will become a heart opening union. You're going to have a Kundalini activator. You're going to have a co-creation with Source. That is powerful. And it's a way to achieve higher density awareness through love and presence. So I already had my answer written down here, but I did want to know what they thought about it from that point. So let's get into what they do. They reduce sex to the reptilian stuff, reduce it to a biochemical lust, filled with mind performative porn conditioning. You'll have that, inject shame and guilt via religions. They promote fear and fear-based programming around intimacy. They break the link between sex and soul. That is really important too, because there is a link between sex and soul that a lot of people don't talk about. You can talk about that with somebody you're going to be intimate with, and they ain't going to even connect the dots on that shit. Okay, so we can kind of go to that. But now, what they do, they're going to control through creative content. They're going to corrupt it, and you're going to block what we call your sovereign manifestation. They're gonna sex is supposed to unite you, but it will divide things at the end of the day, because if it's divided after all of this, then we know something was happening there. It's going to be a distraction from ascension at some point. Inverted sexuality collapses the energy inward, okay? And it's not going to bring it outward. This is what happens a lot in people that someone says Tantra is used to have a Kundalini awakening. Okay, all right. So I'm glad y'all are answering those questions. So we're going to go to the last part of today's show. We're going to talk about sleep possession and the physical marks when these entities do come. And a lot of people get this all the time. Sleep sex attacks are real. They happen all the time, but they're rarely understood. A lot of people don't understand them for obvious reasons. But a lot of times when these individuals wake up, they come up with bruises. I used to show y'all that there was times that I still got the bruises. I would have them on both sides, on my arms and like crazy, and I still got them. I get them a lot now, but so I already know what's been happening. But yeah, so you will get a lot of these bruises. You will get a lot of stuff happening, muscle pains, sexual violation memories. You'll get a lot of those things, and it's not a fantasy. And it's not. Some of you have sex husbands and wives and entities in the other world. I've done out of body astral stuff, and with the agreement of the person, like, hey, I'm going to visit you at night, and they were like, okay, we're going to visit each other at night. And you have to have that agreement and go in there. And I've been opposed with some stuff and like, get out of here, don't come. And I like tell them the next morning, hey, you got some shit in there, you know what I'm saying, that don't want you bothered, and there's a lot of people got spiritual demon type things in the sexual in the other world that you're theirs, and somehow you can through love get that broken, and they do not want you to find love. They will violate everything you have to make sure that you don't bring love into the fray, because it will disembowel them, right? So those are things. Somebody said, wow, I used to experience that with my partner. Yeah. And so yeah, and so I've had those conversations, and I'll be like, hey, and you could do that and start having conversations and practicing this with someone you trust. Of course, you got to trust to be giving the permission to go into these meeting somebody in the astral plane, right? That is not everyday thing that you want to just be effing around with when you're doing that. But what happens when the link between sex and souls is broken? Great question. When that link between sex and soul is broken, now those spirits take over. And you got to remember, you can have multiple spirits in a body. You got one soul, but there's a lot of people that have multiple spirits in them that are housing. This is when you get people saying, hey, my ancestors said this, and they use an S, and they got all these voices and spirits in their heads and body, and they're all just jamming for space and all these things. So when they disconnect from your soul, which is that flame and that whole point, and that disconnection happened, you heard the term lost soul, right? It begins that. But if and then when you hear soul flames or soul twin flames and all these different things, they're all on different levels. If the link is broken, all you need to do is ask why, and it's about honesty. Yeah, that will be on a human carnal level. Transparency, would use the word honesty. In fact, I've always had this question out there too, the difference between the two. But yeah, when you get down to that, I think, and again, who was that lady? Dr. Ruth back in the day? Yeah. So you can go with that, but just be careful, man, that this stuff is real. Can I get it back? Yeah, you can get it back. It's going to be, remember, all of this has to be done. If you're talking about with that particular individual, that's the question. Let me make sure you're asking the right question. And you're saying getting it back, or you're saying within yourself too, because that is within you too. Okay. So you can lose the sex and soul connection within yourself that has been distorted, broken, and cut off. And it's why a lot of people are just out there in this a form of enjoyment, and it's not a spiritual connection. And they can't even see it anymore. They can't even understand the interpretation. They don't even want to know. They don't even care. It's like, I want it like this. It's got to be, you know, this big or this wide open. You know, it's got to spit fire, you know, blow foam, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's got to, I need it look like this. It needs to be this tall and you know, dropping this many inches. And don't get me wrong, there's some disappointments out there. But I'm saying, uh, you're saying just myself. Yeah. The main thing will be, um, and I'm being transparent. Not long ago, I had a spiritual reading with Source. Okay. And I made the comment that it was time that I'm wanting to experience true love. Okay. And one of the processes that I had to go through, which was, I would say, difficult for a moment, was to uh, burn and disconnect all of the sexual ties of anybody I've ever been with. Okay, from the ex-wives to whatever, and they send you through this process where you're gonna have to write these things down, and then you're gonna write your letters, and of course you're gonna write your good things, and then of course you're going to burn it as well. You're going to activate this thing outside, and you're going to do it at a certain time. You're going to do this, and it's really cool because soon as you do this, you will start getting some calls from people who have been really easy to get your draws. Right? You've been like, yeah, I'll give it to you. What do you want? And then you're like, no, I don't even feel it. I don't want to. And some of these people are energetic uh, drainers and all these things. And so once you get to that point, then you will customize your calling to whoever you're calling. Like, you're going to call out to that other partner and things that and you're going to write all of these things down. And they will tell you, and the source will tell you dates and times and when these things are going to happen and how you're going to meet these people. And then, of course, choice happening there. But the first thing you want to do is cut all of that stuff out. Then you can find your way back to your sex and soul connection. Because when it happens, and the vulnerability of that is, you know, temptation, giving it back to the wrong person, you know, all of this kind of shit. But you'll have a clearer picture of who you would like this to be, and all these things. And so it's a cool thing. It's really cool to experience that. And it does take you on a whole different journey. And hopefully I just said what I said and you get what I'm saying. But all right, so what we're going to talk about is, um, like I said, we talked about it yesterday, you know, about people that, so let me give you a conclusion on my notes here so we can come back to here. How to sever the loop and reclaim your sacred union, what you asked a while ago here. You got to see sex as a sacred and current and not a commodity. Okay, that's one of the things I want you to know at that point. You got to refuse shame-based programming. You were born to be sovereign. You got to withdraw your energy from addictive systems, and you want to reclaim the willpower. And you want to choose conscious, heart-centered connections over performance. That's probably very difficult for people to achieve these days because they want it a certain way. They got to have it a certain way. It's got to be done this way. It's got to be, like I said, over here from over there. They got to, you know, he or she or got to stand off a pole and have a pole or whatever you want to have. And that's just their demands. And that's okay. They want it that way. But most of them are not consciousness aware of those things. And so you have to choose conscious, heart-centered connections over performance, because that's a whole nother conversation. But you're going to protect altered states, your energy field, and it's not an open source. You also want to speak love in your body and rewrite the program from within. This is why we had to rewrite all of this stuff and put this stuff together and begin going down there. And just remember, sex is not an enemy. It's not dirty. It's not a trap when it's centered in love. When it's centered in love and presence and spirit, it's a wonderful thing. It is probably going to be the best thing. And that is the part of the journey that I wish to experience, right? Because we're infinite conscious awareness. We're infinite conscious awareness. We're living this experience of where we are, and you can change all of that by deciding to do it different. And then understand that love is an antidote. It really does. It does heal. It does cure. It shields. Love will shield someone else and yourself. It'll do that. Love is you can reclaim the sacred current that they fear the most. The reptilians fear this the most. And so you're not here to be fed on. You're here to be awakened within your divine within your flesh. There's a divine within our flesh. And so hopefully I said some stuff today. We're over 15 minutes and we can go into some other stuff. If you got any value from where we are tonight, I would love for you to hit the like button. We are a community funded show. And if you like to support our show and what we're doing, you can kind of go to roderickmartin.com and buy a book, or you can show support here today with Zelle straight to our ministry account to what we're doing. At what age, Roderick, is it different in every country? What is the question when you're saying what age, Roderick, is different? So I'm not for sure. What do you mean by that? If you can give me a little more leeway on that question. But again, if you're finding value in today's show, you can support through Zelle or PayPal straight directly. And like I said, we are a community funded show. I'll take some Q&A right now about whatever, if it's off topic, we can go off topic. If any of you know you need to hook up and we need to go back through what we did yesterday and hook you up, let me know if you're available and you're out there and what you like and what you don't like. We can kind of go from there. But again, I would like to know if you got any value and learn anything today, that you'll share this video, maybe like it or whatever, put in the chat, because then I'll know what to do. Your truth just kicked my authority's ass. Oh, cool. I appreciate it. I'm going to put that on the screen up there, because truth versus authority. She said, your truth just kicked my authority's ass. Please say it. I haven't heard nothing like that in years. I'm going to take that one. That's going to be I'm going to screenshot that and keep that. Can you screenshot that? And then I want to keep that one. I like that. Can we ask you anything? Oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? Go for it. Shit, ask me anything. What if a person is on a celibacy journey? All right, so I have reservations in those type of areas when it comes to whether you're being celibate or you're waiting. And y'all have heard my thing, because oftentimes we get situations where somebody will say, I want to wait till sex before marriage or whatever. Oh, thank you. Oh, somebody screenshot it for me. Boy, I just love it. Y'all on point here. And one of the things that people use the term celibacy is, I'm just not having any more sex for a while, or for whatever reason, or to equate into this. So I'm gonna wait until I get married, or am I just waiting for the persons? You get what I'm saying? So oftentimes that I'm really particular if I meet a other party and they're celibate and it only triggers a marriage proposal at this point to become undat. I'm just not down with that program. I think it's a terrible price to pay to marry someone to have sex with them. I'm not saying you're saying that, but I have to then speak religiously. The devil is a lie. You know what I mean? However, I understand the importance of making sure whoever it is you're going to exchange this energy with can become that, because you may not need the marriage paperwork to literally be spiritually connected and married to someone. So hope I'm answering that, but I'm just saying that you can at any point, what's the word I'm looking for? Just be open when that person come and follow your instinct there, because that will be the time the right person may come. May not be in the package that you're looking for, but if you're feeling it from the inside, then that's where I would tell you to begin to look deeper into it. Can you put the support contact number on the screen? Our number? Okay. Which number? We can use the if let's see which number we have. We have our 800 number you can call. I tell you what, here's what I would do for you, Inca Woods. Email at contact@whythebigsecret.com. Okay. Email at contact@whythebigsecret.com. Email your number and your name or whatever, so I'll know, and I will call out to you. I can do it later tonight or tomorrow, just whenever. Just let me know the best time to call, and we would do that. And I'll, talk, a few minutes or whatever. If it's going to be a long call, then I do my consultations. But if it's just, introductory or whatever, we would do. Thank you, Diane. No problem. Contact@whythebigsecret.com, and then I'll respond to that. Someone said, let's go here. He said, I love you all. My fiance and me is listening to that. I hope y'all having sex already, or y'all decided to, whatever. If you didn't, my boy, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm not getting your business. But hopefully y'all have this energy already, knowing what you're going to do. You already chose each other to go down that route. But let me take out the word sex, and if you're going to exchange love, energy, and all that stuff, then, y'all make sure y'all do just that. But anyway, it's great that you have a fiance, that two people are going to take a journey together. The only advice that I will give you, marriage is like medicine. It tastes bad, but it's good for you. Okay, that's what I want you to know. It tastes bad, but it's good. Now, if you're lucky enough to get some flavored medicine, you got it. Shit, you go for it 100%. All right, so I'm gonna put that on the screen there, and test drive the test drive. I'm with you on that. That's the whole thing I'm saying when people talk about sex before marriage, because you can test drive a Ferrari with bad credit. You could go into a Ferrari, $500,000 Ferrari, and test drive that bad boy before you buy it. Okay. And just understand it, because you can't get caught up in the wrong way and you'll be doing it. Okay. We have Monkey back. I'm still with the name. Okay. Monkey. Devin, what would you think somebody named Monkey? 0828 though. What is it? Oh, for real? I can't show y'all that. No, we're not gonna do that. She said I have physical therapy on Wednesday, and it's an hour from my house. Sorry, you're all good. All right, so yeah, and yeah, he's funny. So someone said I'm not buying. He said for sure they're doing it. Okay, great. He said I'm not buying anything first off the assembly line either. I'm with it. I mean, because sometimes it just don't drive right. It's just not going to, and everything else. It's all about energy exchange. Yeah, absolutely. So again, Monkey, you missed it. We was talking about Tantra a little bit. You might want to go back and look at the video. We was talking about sexual energy, how they steal sex, and how important is all of that, and pretty much all those things. Anybody got any other questions? We'll go for another few minutes with questions. Ask anything you want. We will go there. Yeah. So tomorrow will be 5:00 tomorrow, and then 7:00 we're going to do our first live stream inside Patreon, our parallel, the parallel 33 parallel. In there, if you are a member in Patreon already, you will be able to see the Billy Carson's when he came to Dallas, that 4-hour. Yaya's 4 hours going to be posted in there. Last night I put in the Reptilian Rule, the webinar that everybody joined and paid for. It's in the Patreon for you, and then the Sigil creation. And if it's not there, it'll be posted automatically in the next day or two. So we're going to have our first live stream for our members in there. We're just going to talk a little symbolism and all of that stuff. So make sure if you go to Patreon, the 33 parallel, you will be able to get that information. Okay. And so it's truth versus authority. Also, if you are a Patreon member, you will be able to, I'll put a link in there the next day or so. all our Patreon members get a free 30-minute, or every month, you're going to get a 30-minute consultation, direction alignment call with me. And so I will be doing that. And you said, oh, yeah, I hear you, Damon. I'm looking at it on my watch here. So, but if you want to, if you're a Patreon member, I'll put the calendar in there in the next day or two. You are able every month. You can talk to me once a month and personally or whatever you want, what we're doing. It is available for our Patreon, the 33 parallel members. So when you go in there, so like I say, this Thursday, we got a few members and we'll talk in there live and have conversations and things that we cannot say out here. We're going to start putting content in there. All our new webinars, our paid webinars, will be free to our members in there. So I suggest that, we were going to turn it off right now and let the people who've been in there, who's been faithful all this time, to consume all the stuff that they need. So we may cut it off if you do not go there. But anyway, go to Patreon. There's a link in the description of this video. There's a link in the description of the video if you want to go to the event. Watch it on August the 8th. Also, 2 more copies left of my book. I would like to send them out until my other ones get here in the mail. And I wish that 2 people tonight will go buy it. And it's roderickmartin.com, so I can send an autograph out. I'm going to send everything out this Friday from this whole week and stuff. So let me look in the chat here and see what we got. How much is the membership? It's $33. So go check that out. Not the member there, Monkey. You want to go to the Patreon. Okay. But that's cool. That helps us too, because that's like a couple of bucks and stuff. So I appreciate it. Once somebody said, what kind of energy are you looking for, Rod? Okay. And that's a great question, because I have a really good energy. And if anybody been around me, they'll tell you. Anybody that reads auras and all that, I've worked on it over the years. Okay. And sometimes I think that it's important to match energy. Now, it's also important. Let me give you an example. I don't know where my water bottle is, but I'll definitely get it out. And I was just talking to a friend of mine about this yesterday. And I'm going to use this as an example. So let's just say this is me. And now I'm full of energy and love and all this stuff, but you can pour this into a person, and it can be your boo or whoever it is. The key to it is you already see that you're pouring into a lesser vessel. And the problem is, once you expand all your energy, because the energy is never given, lost, or whatever, is transferred and it comes back, that person cannot fill your cup back. And although they think they can, and they can't, because you done poured a lot into them. And what I've noticed over the time, and I'm just talking, that a lot of women are like, men, we come in different shapes. We're like vases. You all are like water, the most powerful substance in the world. And there's often times that, depending on what she's poured into, she can conform to the shape of that vase, right? That's why most women can get involved with a badass dude, and she turned bad too, because she pours into this. But when it's the other way around and that energy is coming back out from a good energetic person, and if she's not going to be able to come back. So I look for the person that can also reciprocate energy. Not the person who's trying to protect it all the time. And I want to protect it, because they're going to draw from me and I'm going to draw back from them. And we're going to be able to exchange energies and be that core for each other over time. But you got to be careful with verbiage, how people protect it. And I'm saying you should protect your energy, because not everybody should have access to that. So I look for reciprocating energy that is already on a high vibrational like myself, or I can pour into it and bring it a little more vibration, but it has to be willing to send some of it back. And that is not happening in the conscious community. It is something about it psychologically. It's something about women that I know, that I've met, that they just don't give it back the right way. I don't get it, in the way a man needs that energy is totally different than that, but it is exchangeable. It does go back and forth. It's never lost. It's never dissipated. Uh, and that energy can go out. So hopefully I make that example. What I look for from that point, it's just more or less the person that's capable of exchanging positive energy and willingly on my day, what do you have for me? As well as your day, I have a lot for you. Okay. Somebody said we need a class on that. Yeah, we can talk about that deeply if that's what we want to do. Hopefully, I kind of answered that the best way I can to say. Someone says a real woman usually marry a man used to be and gives him life and makes him whole. James Brown, he was a trip. Yeah, so you don't get that anymore. You get so many people that are. I rarely, by the way, meet people that could look at what they can bring into my life to make it better. Because I'm always looking to see what I can make better in someone else's life. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but it's rare, when that happens because most people are not looking. They're looking for a completion, but they're not looking for an insertion of where love can become like this, at some point. And sometimes you just don't. I don't think they see it this way or whatever. I'm learning this cosmically or whatever, but you should be able to know what you should know if you look at this thing and what's missing. And can I make that whole and make it become one, so to speak? I'm not saying that you just aimlessly give that stuff out to the wrong place. That's not what I'm saying. But we'll go into that. Somebody said it went mute, no volume. Are we good? I'm good. Okay. All right. I really enjoyed the insight. Appreciate it. Any other questions before we go? Someone said, it is said that most of us somewhere around 1,700 incarnations. It could be. I won't have no numbers on that, but I don't doubt it. That's for dang on sure. Someone said, Monkey said, I'm driving home, so I missed some of the comments. I'm sorry. Yeah. Hey, welcome. Driving home. You can do that. And, but anyway, like I said, my email address is contact@whythebigsecret.com. I don't mind giving everybody a few seconds of conversation if it's needed or something. You write in an email a little bit with your number and what we're really going to be chatting about. That's cool. I'm open for that. But if it's more lines in the other direction, we would do that. And what else? Yeah. So I love each and every one of y'all. So any more questions? We got. I'll go 3 more minutes or so, 4 minutes if y'all got questions or anything that you can kind of go into that. We will look and see. Yeah, we will look. We'll see. So I did ask someone else, what do you know about Tantra? The answer was it rhymes with mantra. That was it. Okay, that was the answer. They came back and said it rhymes with mantra. That's for damn sure. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Monkey is saying 1, so she is probably 40 minutes behind our conversation. So she'll hear stuff later once she watches the show. All right, you're late. You're 100. You should come on. So are chicken wings really good at the strip clubs? You know what?
Hamburgers, yeah.
And hamburgers. Yeah. Hamburgers are really good. Chicken wings and hamburgers are really good. They should say. Yeah, so that is it. All right, come on. Any more questions before we go? It's Wednesday. So it's Wednesday. We good to go. I'm getting a haircut on Friday. So, and let's not get any donations. You know what? I'm going to let my hair grow until I get a donation. What do you think? I got to get it Friday anyway. So I'm going to get it Friday, though. But the whole point is I'll let it grow out into Friday. All right. And we will do that. So, agree with an additional note. Since you moved in, from May fancy. Boy, they just be golly. Golly, they just do not be like, geez. All right. So Damon says, hey, I'm gay. and ain't been to one. Hey, I'm gay and ain't been to one. I come to Dallas, y'all got a lot there. Let's make it rain. Well, I mean, of course, I've been knowing you gay shit, but I don't know where. Oh, where you know anything about where gay clubs are that Damon can go? Anything, so he can make it rain? Oh, he said he don't know either, but I'm sure we'll get you pointed in it. Somebody said we hooking you up, Roderick. Y'all gonna hook me up with what? Who? How y'all gonna do that? We're grown to a safe place. We have grown here, and I think this is a safe place. Yeah, I believe it's a safe place. We put it all together to be a safe place for sure. But what y'all gonna hook me up with? Yeah, let's go there. What would y'all hook me up with? I am single, so that is the point. But what would y'all hook me up with? I mean, it's with a. I tend to try to make good choices, but you never know. So I'm listening. What are y'all talking about? But let me put it out there though, real quickly though. I run a group. I'm building a community. So that particular person will hopefully be a part of our community, right? Or whoever she is, and understand my position and where I sit and what is bestowed upon me and the future of things. Not only intimacy and romantic type things are just little stuff, but I'm a public person, so hopefully but I do think some things should be kept in private for sure. So we go there, but hopefully that all of that gels to a point where this person can be introduced to you all and say, hey, here's the person I'm with, and I'm gonna make a good choice, and then therefore that trust transfer should transfer over to that person, in a heartbeat. I've tried it before. I've been married before, so I do understand the mistake that can be made. I've done it. I made the mistakes before, and I'm hoping to have learned from those mistakes, and also understanding, there's a lot of stuff involved. But my whole thing, I will hope that she will do a good job of, creating the ambiance that I will crave her, right? Because there's so many distractions out here. There are so many distractions. And I do not want her to miss sight on that, in that way she will keep the energy flowing in want that dog love. You know what I'm saying? Where, you got a dog, everybody got a dog. You go out the room and you come back, that dog ain't seen you for 5 minutes ago, and that sucker is wagging his tail like, hey, like you've been gone for a week. That's dog love. You know what I'm saying? You want somebody that every time you see them, it's like new. If you get people that are used to seeing each other every day, they just get tired of being, because there's a lot of people that do not hang around the people that they with. They don't want to spend a lot of time with them. They think it's too much time. I don't know. So when it's your time, your energy will attract. Yeah. Yeah. So, I send my energy out and let it go. We can do it. How's your beautiful dog? He is big now. He's short, but he is big dog. He is a good looking dog. He really is. Very rare. What's rare, Minky Woods? I would like to know. You talking about a dog or something that's rare? What's rare? Um, yeah, we're just talking. So what is rare? I would like to get an explanation of that. Someone said, I just want to aerobic stuff with a woman do. Whatever. He said, I just want the aerobic stuff that women do. Music, chicken wing, Ann's double dry martini. Ain't no tingling for me. Just looking. Hey, I thought you was in a relationship, dude. You broke up with your guy or what? What's going on with that? So you can't be coming to Dallas cheating on him, We ain't gonna instigate that. But I'm waiting on Woods. What is rare? And anybody else got anything to go before we go? We spent a lot of time today, so we're talking. We're chilling. And I'm just having fun. I knew you was talking that shit. I knew you was. Get home, be locked out and shit when you get back. You know what I'm saying? That shit happen to y'all too. We know. getting locked out and all that, the same old stuff that everybody else goes through. I know. All right. So any other questions? I'm gonna do the countdown right now. Any other questions? Then we'll go from there. Nope. No other questions? No. We're gonna do. Okay. All right. Oh no. Have a great night. Okay. Same shit, man. For real. Have a great night. All right. I love y'all. Make sure you tell everyone you love them. I'll see you back here tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Again, get the book or go to our Patreon, patreon.com, Truth versus Authority. We're going to be live streaming tomorrow there privately at 7 o'clock. I would love for you to come in there. All right. Love you all back and hope y'all enjoyed everything today. And again, my email address is contact@waterbigsecret.com. Y'all can do that. And again, love each and every one of you. And just hope if you didn't hear it today, you heard it. I love you because I haven't heard it today. So I do look for it. I do count the days. I have a calendar every day. Not, like true love, boom, boom, boom. But I do have a calendar and I mark it off like, and I could give you the number of days of true love. I love you. So, but anyway, let's do it. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Let's roll.
UFOs,
UAPs,
unidentified anomalous phenomena.
unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Who are they? Where are they from? And what is their intent?
All questions that immediately come to mind with the mention of UFOs. A Pentagon report is detailing a dramatic increase in UFO sightings, more than 350 since 2021. Many of them are explained as being drones, birds, or weather events, but about half of them remain unexplained.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
This video taken by the Navy showing what he describes as pyramid-shaped UFOs flying over the USS Russell off the San Diego coast in July of 2019. The Pentagon has since confirmed that the video is authentic.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found and inspected sometime last week. Our correspondents in Los Angeles and Chicago have been in contact with Army officials endeavoring to obtain all possible late information. Joe Wilson reports to us now from Chicago. The Army may be getting to the bottom of all this talk about the so-called flying saucers. As a matter of fact, the 509th Atomic Bomb Group headquarters at Roswell, New Mexico, reports that it has received one of the discs that landed on a ranch outside Roswell. A disc landed at a ranch at Corona, New Mexico, and the rancher turned it over to the Air Force. Rancher W.W. Brazil is the man who discovered the saucer.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
More people are coming forward with their own sightings.
Videos recorded by U.S. Navy personnel have added a new layer of evidence to the current national debate about UFOs.
Right at that moment, I saw what looked like 5 lights flying in formation in kind of an inverted check mark.
The NASA independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin. We don't know what these UAP are.
The mysterious flying objects are still a mystery. NASA will continue investigating them and has appointed a director of UAP research.
Technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had.
It's flying!